Hello and welcome to the Hobby Corner. My name's Kev and today we are looking at the pages of issue 3 of the Imperium magazine. Now a big shout out to Ross Graham from Fauxhammer. He has sponsored this video by purchasing this issue for me, and if you wish to be a sponsor of an issue, then throw down the donation or throw a comment or DM me or whatever, and you too can have a whole episode dedicated straight to your awesome generosity, and also it will help carry the reviews on, because once I get to issue 5 I'll have to stop. So if you guys want to see more, then that's your way to do it. Anyways, let's dive right in. So thank you again, Mr. Ross Graham. So in issue 3 it comes with a pot of Macragge blue to start painting those ultramarines. We get those 3 little bases, and we get 3 easy to build assault intercessors. Now they do have the ultramarine logo on the shoulder pad, which is really cool actually, but for those who are not collecting ultramarines and get these, don't fret, you can always just rub that off with a filing tool or scrape it off with a hobby knife, whatever, as long as you're careful with it. But yeah, this is the only stuff apart from Marnius Calgar and his 2 Cicatrix Guard and the Primarch Rebuta Gilliman, who will actually have the Ultramar or the Ultramarines insignia. Everything else is going to be a blank canvas. So but I still like them. They're really nice dynamic poses, so it'd be really cool to start using those. So on the cover, I really like this artwork. It says discover assault intercessors, paint your ultramarines and learn to fight in close combat. So let's turn it over. So we have the assault intercessors, frontline shock troops. Assault intercessors are close support infantry who specialize in hand-to-hand combat. They fire heavy bolt pistols as they advance upon their foes. Once they have closed upon their enemies, they cut them to pieces with brutal strikes from their deadly chainsaws. That's pretty cool. So there's a dude with a frag grenade in his hand, which is kind of cool. You just lob it, hits mass ranks rather than armored stuff. Heavy bolt pistol, which is kind of cool. You also got the Astartes chainsword, so that's that. This is a good issue if you're not too fussed about keeping them. Then you can use these heavy bolt pistols for your lieutenant conversions into the sword. What are they called? Blade Guard veterans. There you go. So yeah, you could do that. It also says squad casualties. A squad of assault intercessors usually numbers in 5 or 10 warriors. This squad has suffered casualties, including the loss of their sergeant. Now only 3 remain. Okay, so they put a bit of narrative to that. And of course you got the shoulder markings. That just means that they are an assault unit. And we move over here, so we've got a battle record, which of course I will print off. And on the live stream where we do the play through for this squad, you'll get to name a chance to name the squad. So make sure you tune in on Mondays at 9 PM for that. And then of course we got the Dark Imperium. In the last days of the 41st millennium, mankind finds itself consumed by endless wars. This is an age in which history, reason and hope have been ground away by conflict and suffering. Enlightenment has been replaced by superstition, zealous faith and desperate prayer. Humanity stands on the brink of extinction. Bum bum bum. So there you go. So it's going to go over a little bit of what's happened. Essentially, the entirety of the galaxy is split in half by a massive warp storm that was caused by the War Master, Abaddon, the Despoiler. Oh look, got another leaflet, cool. And yeah, it buggered everything up because that side of the galaxy have lost communication with Terra Mars, so it's like some forces can get through to help them, but essentially for the most part they're on their own. So that really sort of makes things interesting. So again, there's a bit more detail on that. The domain of mankind, the Imperium Nihilus. So the Imperium Nihilus is the other side of the Great Rift, essentially. It's all of the Imperium of Man territories that are essentially out away from the Astronomicon, which is the big psychic beacon from Terra that allows navigators to find their way through the warp so ships don't get lost. The warp is an extra dimensional realm that allows vessels with warp drives to cross the incredible distances between the stars. Without the warp, the Imperium could not function. Those who travel the warp see it as a giant ocean of roiling power whose currents are constantly in motion. It is a confusing, nightmarish place filled with murderous entities known to humanity as demons. These predatory creatures seek to work their way into the minds of mortals and devour the souls of the unwary. So all good stuff. So that's the Nihilus section. This is the Imperium Sanctus, the half that's okay. Because you know they're still within reach of Terra and the Astronomicon, so this sort of fared better. And of course you got the Ultima segmentum there as well, so that's a very successful area in the galaxy. And then we move on to Tomb Worlds. So this is a nice little introduction to where the Necrons come from. So far beneath the surface of many planets, networks of ancient catacombs and obsidian tombs lie silent, the stasis crypts filled with slumbering Necron legions. These tomb worlds exist across the galaxy, often beneath the feet of unsuspecting humans who remain blissfully unaware of the threat below. So for aeons, the Necrons expanded throughout the galaxy. They created these tomb worlds, all hidden away for when they went for the big sleep. And some have been awoken early by accident, by cataclysm, by just people being on the planet, sort of thing. So Necrons have always been sort of a whispered thing until recently, where they've properly woken up and they're starting to really get a move on. So you got the Great Sleep. So after they fought the Great War against the powerful foes known as the Old Ones, who are responsible for creating a lot of races, and the Webway. They just went to sleep. The Necron leader, Zarek, foresaw the destruction of his race. Rather than stand and fight, the Silent King ordered his people to enter stasis beneath the surfaces of their worlds. So, there you go. That is that. And then the effects of entropy. So after millions of years, things fail, things blow up, fall apart, all that sort of thing. And we've got the Canoptic Caretakers. So you got these constructs called the Canoptics, like the Doomstalkers and Scarabs, which were there essentially just to keep things ticking over, fix things up and stuff like that. But they are pretty nasty in combat. And then we got a story. We got our first story, the Assault on Drakthir. So that sounds cool. As I mentioned before in the Mortal Realms magazines, this is perfect toilet reading. It's just long enough for a toilet break. So, Drakthir is a ghost world. Its population has been wiped out. Upon the surface of the fallen world, Space Marines from Ultramarines' Second Company fight a brutal battle with the implacable android legions of the Saracen dynasty. So there you go, that's the little blurb. And I'll read the first two paragraphs just for you guys. So, put on my narrative voice. Sergeant Decius led his men forward, Roaring the battle cry of the Ultramarines, he thundered towards the first rank of Necron warriors. Courage and honor! As they closed the gap, Decius's assault intercessors fired their heavy bolt pistols. A volley of bolter rounds struck the lead rank of Necrons, blasting apart metallic bodies. Several of the androids fell, their living metal sparking unable to repair the devastating damage. In return, the Necrons unleashed their Ghost Flare upon Decius's men. To his left, Brother Amnos was struck. The green beam of flensing energy thudded into his chest. His ceramite armor crumbled to atoms, and a second Gauss beam bored a hole through his chest. The dead Space Marine fell forwards, crashing to the floor, his chainsword sparking as it bit into the stone ground. So there you go, action packed already. So that's a nice 2-page thing, and then of course we've got a little bit from Sergeant Decius himself, so that's pretty cool. And then of course we've got a nice little build section, how to build it and how to keep your pot clean so it closes properly and doesn't dry out, using a palette and making sure you get the right amount of paint on your brush. You never want to go too far up, because if you get the paint in there in the ferrule, then that's when things start going a bit weird. So and then it'll show you about painting that. They say 2-3 coats if you're painting by brush, but if you can get yourself a aerosol can, a primer or something, that'll make things a lot easier, a lot quicker, because then you could just spray it and then quickly go over with a brush. So there you have. And then we got the playthrough number 3, Hold Them Back. So cut off from the allies and commanders, the squad of assault intercessors continue to proceed with their mission. Destroy the Necron repair facility beneath Bagaria's surface. And there you go, you got the Necron warriors against the intercessors. And let's have a look here. So now they've introduced weapon skill. So that means when you get into combat, you can attack. Notice they don't have a ballistic skill here. So they're here to specifically teach you about combat, essentially. So there you go, you got all your data profiles and stuff like that. They're hitting on 3+. That's fine. They get 2 attacks as well, and they've got 2 wounds. The Necron warriors this time have 2 wounds rather than 1. So I think that's just to even out the playing field. But there you go, that's how you set them up. And then it has the turn by turn thing as well. So just showing you an example of what you're up to, which is pretty cool. And there you go, how to win. Play through more turns, start over with the instructions from the first turn. And you keep playing until one player is all destroyed. So there you go. And it says it's got rematch. Once the game is over, try again with the Space Marines taking the first turn. After a few games, switch who's the players, stuff like that. And there you go. Issue 4 is the Scorpec destroyers, lead belch paint, and a full-size battle mat. And then issue 5, which is very highly sought after, is the exclusive Primaris Captain, which you can only get in this magazine series. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss out, pre-order your copy on Forbidden Planet. The link is in the description below. That helps the channel out with a little kickback, and it also helps you out making sure that you get a copy. Let me know in the comments below what you think about issue 3. Positives, negatives. How do you feel about these miniatures as well, and the engraving on them? And yeah, as I said, if you want to help support the channel, there are plenty of ways to do so. You go Forbidden Planet, Element Games for all your hobby supplies. Buy me a coffee, join a membership like this awesome chap has, where you can buy in at £2, £5 or £10, each tier doing a little bit more for you, for your money, and at the same time you get to help the channel out. You can also make a donation to have an episode, or an episode? I call it an episode, sponsored by you, where you'll have an issue bought with the money that you donate, and a nice little shout out for you, and it will be immortalized on the internet forever. That's all I've got time for, so thank you again for watching. Big love to you all, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Peace.